Creating a news agenda that reflects an unbiased view of Asian current affairs without relying on external news sources. Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
Hello and welcome to AVN, an exciting 25-minute journey that brings you the latest in technological innovations, scientific breakthroughs and human interest stories, all carefully curated by AVN News. I'm Utma Mahmood, your host for the evening. A record number of lorikeets and flying foxes have been hospitalized with a mystery illness in southeast Queensland. Experts believe it could be caused by a toxin found in food sources, but haven't worked out what, with fears if this trend continues, it could have a significant impact.
Wrapped in a soft blanket with a dummy for comfort, 5-week-old orphans Flower, Rex and Raja are receiving round-the-clock care after losing their mothers to a mystery illness.
We don't know what's causing it. What we seem to see is that it's not a virus because they can't seem to pass it on.
Thousands of lorikeets and adult flying foxes across southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales are getting sick or dying from a paralysis syndrome. The disease is seasonal, with the highest number of cases occurring between December and February.
The disease is very terrible. The affected animals do suffer. They're unable to drink or eat, and they're on the ground, so they're exposed to trauma or predation by other species.
Researchers are trying to determine whether it's caused by a toxin found in the animal's food source, but there's still a lot they don't know.
Certainly the clinical signs that we see are very consistent with botulism in other species, but the way that these birds and flying foxes are being exposed is very novel, and we're really trying to work out what's going on there.
RSPCA Queensland admitted nearly 8,000 lorikeets and 1,000 flying foxes to hospital in 2024. Many were also cared for by wildlife volunteers.
Right now we're experiencing a lot of burnout with our carers as well. It's been so hard.
Experts believe changing weather patterns such as high heat and humidity is making the situation worse, and fear high death rates year on year could eventually start impacting other wildlife.
So if we continue to lose really large numbers of these individuals, then we're losing the important pollination and seed dispersal services that they provide.
Animals with milder cases have a good chance of recovery. Anyone who finds a sick flying fox shouldn't touch them, but along with injured lorikeets is urged to contact the RSPCA or nearest wildlife carer. Liz Gwynn, ABC News.
Indonesian Minister of Culture expresses that more museums will be built in the country to make Indonesia the country with thousands of museums in the future. He expresses hope that the public and private sector will participate in achieving this goal.
Speaking to journalists at the National Museum in Jakarta, Minister of Culture Fadlizon said construction of new museums in Indonesia will not only focus on quantity but also on quality. In order to realize this vision, the Ministry of Culture will open various trainings for museum managers and curators in cooperation with international institutions, Fadli said. The trainings will be carried out in regional and private museums and use the national museums as the benchmark. Fadlizon said that the new museum will not only be built in Java but also outside Java, such as Bali and Sumbawa, which will soon have new museums, such as the Sarcophagus Museums and Open Air Museum. Fadli also called for the participations of the public and private sectors in financing the construction of new museums.
Papua New Guinean conservationists have successfully bred the Rayguinea bird of paradise in captivity for the second time in history. It's been a long journey to get to this point so far. The young bird named Otto is doing well. The details will be shared by Marian Farr from ABC News.
Curious, hungry and full of energy, this national icon is growing up fast. Personally, I'm excited about it because looking after them, like trying everything to just make sure we have a successful breeding it's something.
The Ragiana bird of paradise is Papua New Guinea's national emblem. And this 2-month-old chick, nicknamed Otto, is the second of its kind to be bred in captivity.
When it came to like the 18th day, and then we were thinking it wouldn't hatch, but then the 20th day, it finally hatched, so we were really excited about it.
It's not the mom doing the job, it's like the keepers are trying to become like the mom, so that's like the very difficult part of it, raising the chick.
The hard work recognised.
They appreciate me for all the night's work and all this to ensure that the babies survive. Yeah, so I was credited for it.
And Otto is
my middle name.
Once fully grown, Otto will become an integral part of the Nature Park's education program, designed to conserve the important species.
These are the magnificent tail feathers that are used in headdresses across PNG and make the Ragiana bird of paradise such a popular target for hunting.
We really want to ensure that our unique and special species of animals in the wild will be carried on to the future generations, so they will still be able to see this.
While not endangered right now, the species faces even bigger threats than hunting, including climate change and deforestation.
Being the national bird and with such a colorful bird, I think it's very important that we conserve those kinds of birds that we have here in the country.
For now, Otto is blissfully unaware of his importance. Marion Farr, ABC News, Port Moresby.
The Junbil Mela in India's Assam is the only fair in the country that still promotes the culture of barter system. It brings together tribes and communities weaving a rich tapestry of culture, tradition and history. With more details is Momita Biswas from DD India.
We have all read about barter system in our books, but will you believe if I say that in Assam, barter system is still in use? Today we will take you to the place, a small town in Assam, where barter system is still in use.
For centuries, the Tiwa, Garo, Boro and the other indigenous communities of Assam gathered for a unique mela called Junbil Mela, where they come to trade goods in the most unique way through the barter system. In an age dominated by money and technology, here trade is done without a single rupee in sight. Here, a weaver may trade their intricate hand-woven fabrics for vegetables, or a farmer might exchange fresh produce for handmade pottery. This system represents mutual trust, respect, and the value of community.
For many years, my grandmother, my family, and I have been visiting Junbil Mela. I believe everyone should experience this centuries-old tradition and appreciate its cultural significance.
The Junbil Mela barter system is not just a means of survival. It is a celebration of interconnectedness. It teaches us that the value of a thing is not just in its price, but in its usefulness, its cultural significance, and its ability to bring people together.
In the era of technology and digital transaction, Junbil Mela reminds us the beauty of simplicity and the strength of community. The barter system, the age-old barter system, is the living reminder of Assam's timeless tradition. With camera person Pankaj, this is Momita Biswas for DD India.
Hanoi aims to convert all buses in the area to green energy by 2035. Hanoi aims to convert all buses in the area to green energy by 2035. This ambitious goal faces significant challenges, including high investment cost for electric buses and insufficient power infrastructure and charging stations. The implementing unit invested tens of billions of VND to ensure adequate transformer systems and charging stations for 46 new electric buses. Each electric bus costs more than double a traditional bus, and there are no established technical standards or pricing guidelines yet for medium and small electric buses. While the city can establish immediate standards for these buses, these standards will need updating after 5 to 10 years of depreciation. This poses a challenge for existing businesses, especially those operating thousands of buses, as meeting the 2030 deadline will create significant financial pressure. According to official calculations, Hanoi needs about $1.9 billion to complete its bus greening initiative. Currently, the city operates just over 200 electric buses across more than 10 routes. With about 1,800 buses still needing replacement by 2030, the city faces a significant challenge in meeting its target. They are amending several articles of Resolution 07 to create mechanisms that encourage investment in vehicle fleets and charging stations. Additionally, the city is asking agencies and banks to provide favorable interest rates and loans to help businesses transition to electric and green energy. Aiming to complete the project by 2030, Hanoi's leaders have recently asked the City Development Investment Fund to support businesses in converting their vehicles. The city has also directed the Department of Transport and Finance to prepare proposals for the People's Council's next session this year. The initiative focuses exclusively on electric buses rather than natural gas vehicles. Swiss chocolatiers have set up shop in Hong Kong as the city is seen to have high potential in the chocolate sector. World renowned for its quality, Swiss chocolate has record sales exceeding visitors its origins. Just stock is the Swiss love for the confection of 12 kilograms of chocolate annually. According to Swiss Chocolate Association, sales of the confectionery in 2023 reached 1.9 billion Swiss francs or around 16 billion Hong Kong dollars, with exports having accounted for 60%. Chinese engineers successfully carries out 3 ignition tests on liquid rocket engines in a single day for the first time at a facility in Bolongyu area of Xi'an, northwest China's Shanxi province on Sunday. The 3 successful tests, marking China's capability to support the high-frequency launches of the Long March rocket series in the future, were conducted respectively at 9:43, 10:47, and 12:06 for 2 120-ton liquid oxygen and kerosene rocket engines and another 18-ton one. It has been the first time for China to test 2 types of liquid oxygen and kerosene engines, completing 3 tests of diverse engines in a single day. Engine testing is a crucial step in the research and development of rocket engines, which involves dozens of different types of tests throughout the research and development process. The tests conducted Sunday were specifically pre-delivery acceptance tests that help ensure the engines meet the required standards before their delivery for final rocket assembly. The Bolongyu area has been put into operation for 20 years. In recent years, a series of measures has been adopted, including digital empowerment and technological innovation, to reduce the preparation time for the acceptance tests of the liquid oxygen and kerosene engine from 5 days to 2 days. This has significantly boosted working efficiency and helped ensure the timely delivery of the rocket engines for China's next-generation launch vehicles. Thailand is exploring the use of contraceptive vaccines to manage its growing wild elephant population and reduce conflicts with humans, a move that has drawn mixed reactions from conservationists and local communities. The Department of National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation (DNP) held a public hearing on January 19th to gather feedback on a proposed trial of the contraceptive vaccine, which aims to address the increasing number of elephants venturing outside protected areas and damaging crops and property. The meeting was attended by academics, wildlife experts, community representatives affected by human-elephant conflict, elephant advocacy groups, and members of a parliamentary committee on elephant management. Chaiwat Limlikitakson, former director of the National Park Office, expressed skepticism questioning the accuracy of the DNP's elephant population estimates, which range from 4,013 to 4,422, a difference of over 400. He also raised concerns about the limited testing of the vaccine, with only 7 captive female elephants having received a single dose in a study conducted with Chiang Mai University's Faculty of Chaiwat said that it's too early to determine its effectiveness and safety, adding that the estimated cost of $230 per dose was misdirected funding. He advocated for stronger physical barriers such as fences and securing more suitable habitats and food source within protected areas. However, community representatives from 5 eastern provinces bordering protected forests voiced support for the contraceptive trial, hoping it would curb the elephant birth rate. They confirmed that over the past 5 to 6 years, a large number of elephants have been venturing outside the forest, and some have permanently adapted to living outside, giving birth and raising their young in the middle of sugarcane fields. Noel Sukhprasad, a sugarcane farmer from Prashimburi, described extensive crop damage caused by elephants and highlighted the more serious issues of human injuries and fatalities, with 3 deaths reported in his community. He urged elephant advocates to witness the villagers' plight, emphasizing that they are not encroaching on elephant habitat, but rather the elephants are entering their communities. DNP Director General Atapon Charayan Chansa explained that the department is following guidelines set by the National Committee on Elephant Conservation and Management, which includes 6 key strategies: habitat management and improvement, establishing elephant barriers, deploying monitoring and repulsion teams with community networks, providing compensation to affected individuals, and managing areas for elephants exhibiting aggressive behavior. He stressed that the contraceptive vaccine program is a priority of natural resources and the Environment Minister, aimed at addressing the rapid population growth in areas where existing habitats are insufficient. The DNP will report the feedback gathered at the hearing to the Parliamentary Committee for further discussion, addressing public concerns and clarifying implementation guidelines. If approved, the existing 18 doses of the vaccine will be administered to elephants already living outside protected, evaluated before further action is taken, with the current population of 192. Behavior or social community. They are also vital for removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, but the seaweed species is showing alarming signs of decline in water across the world, often because of climate change. In Victoria, funding has just been granted to continue an innovative project that is growing baby kelp in a lab and transplanting it into areas that have been decimated by sea urchins.
It doesn't look like it. Just below the surface.
Quite striking in that they really are barren. There's not a lot growing there. They're kind of devoid of the typical healthy marine life that you'd expect to find.
Sea urchins are eating their way through the golden kelp forests here in Victoria's Port Phillip Bay.
I've got a couple of divers in the middle here, one in the boat, one on the edge.
Researchers from the University of Melbourne are out counting urchins. So we swim out to see how they're going.
Has it changed much over the last few months, do you think?
Not so much in this site. Yeah. Highest today was 20 per square metre.
In a healthy kelp forest, you'll find about 4 urchins per square metre.
They estimate there's about 130 million of these urchins currently in Port Phillip Bay. We understand it, they've affected about 60% of all of the rocky reefs by overgrazing our native seaweeds.
The urchins are native, but their numbers have exploded in recent decades for a number of reasons. A big issue was increased nutrients being pumped into the bay in things like wastewater, which provided extra food. When the water in the bay was cleaned up, the excess urchins went in search of something else to eat and started demolishing the kelp.
You change the balance in the natural system and then, things get out of balance.
In a bid to restore balance, the team, led by the Nature Conservancy, has been growing kelp in a lab and then planting it here. What are you marking out here, Scott?
So we're going to mark the two ends of our plots. They're about 50 metres by 20 metres in size. We'll mark the two ends of those and we're going to jump in the water and see all the kelp that's growing.
They're experimenting with a variety of methods. In some areas, the urchins are regularly removed. In others, they're not. And some sites have had grown kelp transplanted. This kelp here was planted a bit under a year ago. In the first 2 years of the project, the team has planted 400,000 baby kelp, many of them here in this restoration area. And you can already see many of these kelp are taking and growing in this area and replenishing what was once an urchin barren. The couple of months since you've planted that, how much has it grown?
Yeah, so when we plant these out, they're about up to 5 millimetres in size, so they're pretty little. We can just see them with our eyes. And we see some pretty rapid growth. It's quite a satisfying species to watch.
Elsewhere in the bay, some healthy kelp forests remain. So this is the goal.
That's right, yeah. So what we're looking at here is a healthy kelp forest.
It's not just kelp that's thriving, it's other seaweed species and marine life.
Lots of fish and crabs and crustaceans and abalone and all these things really rely on those kelp forests to be there in order to survive. So it's important for that. They provide a really good benefit in terms of being able to protect our shorelines, they improve our water quality.
The Victorian government has just given $300,000 to keep the project going for the next 3 years. But the team says more funding will be needed long term.
What we're hoping is now that we've demonstrated these methods and we can show that we can have success with doing this restoration, is we really want some big, bold commitments to help us really take this to scale.
The lessons learned here are being shared with researchers on the other side of the world and closer to home.
Hey Paul. Hey, how you doing, mate? Yeah, good to see you.
Climate change and warming waters are decimating other species of kelp, including giant kelp here in Tasmania.
By him coming down here, we're able to share all of that combined knowledge, experience, and really synergize the way that we do our projects.
And hopefully restore some underwater forests. Natalie Whiting, ABC News, Port Phillip.
A cherry blossom festival is attracting people to a mountain in Okinawa Prefecture, southern Japan, ahead of other places in the country. About 7,000 cherry trees of the Hiken Sakura variety are planted along a 4-kilometer road from the base of Mount Yaidake in the town of Motobu to the 450-meter high summit. Pink flowers began to blossom around the end of December. Holidaymakers and locals enjoyed viewing the blooms and taking pictures of them as the festival began on Saturday. A woman visiting from Fukuoka Prefecture said she was impressed by the beautiful flowers as she didn't expect to see cherry blossoms in January. She said she likes the cherry blossoms in Okinawa as they have a tropical feel. The event runs through February 2nd. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for PSM News for more updates. Bye-bye.
Creating a news agenda that reflects an unbiased view of Asian current affairs without relying on external news sources. Asia Vision. Asian news through Asian eyes.
ඒරෙග්ග දුනියග නਜ਼ර ಹುಟ್ಟಿಫಾವಾ ಪೊಡೆತಿ ಮಸಾಲ್ತ
Cero votos en contra.
ඒ මස්සල්තවගේ එම්මೆ ෆහුග තಫ්සීර්